good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we are working on the second part of a stocking project, but we will review the first part very quickly just in case you don't want to switch videos. But if you do and you want a slower version of the snowflake hexagon pattern that we are making the stocking with, then I will link that in the description below. So to start, you're going to need a 3.5mm hook if you're using fingering weight yarn or sock weight yarn. If you're using something thicker, just use the appropriate size hook for your yarn, because this project works with any type of yarn. You will also need obviously some scissors, and you'll need like quite a few stitch markers, or if you don't have stitch markers, that's fine, just use bobby pins and you can pin your project as you're sewing it together or crocheting it together. And then an optional thing that you don't actually need, but you can, if you want to make your stocking a little bit more secure, you can use a fat quarter, just a piece of cloth. I have just a cute one here just to show you. So it's just a piece of cloth that you can sew as lining into your stocking, but that is just optional. You don't need that. And also optional are these little fuzzy, I'm just going to open the package, these little fuzzy things. They're stickers, so you stick, they're sticky on the back, and so you can stick them onto projects. And so that's just like if you want to put something a little fuzzy on the top of your project. So I'm just going to get right to it, and I'm going to go quite fast with the granny hexagon, the snowflake. So I'm going to speed through it, but again, if you need a slower version, just go to part 1. So and you're going to need 17 of these. So you just map them out and make 17 of the same hexagon snowflakes. So I'm going to start with a magic ring here and just chain 3 and then do 11 more double crochets into the ring. So that is round number 1. So if you want to continue along very quickly and do that, and I will meet you when you're done all 11, because your chain 3 here counts as your first double crochet, so you'll have 12 altogether. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to slip stitch into the top of your chain 3, and that is your first round. For round 2, you're going to chain 3, and then into that same stitch you're going to do a partial puff stitch. So just yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull up another loop, just like that. So you'll have 5 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through all of those, just like that, and that is a little puff stitch there. So once you have your puff stitch, you're going to chain 2, and then into that same stitch you're going to do another one of those puff stitches. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all those, so you have a puffy V stitch here. And then you're going to chain 1 and then skip the next stitch and go into the next stitch and do that same puffy V stitch again. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all of those, then chain 2 and then into that same stitch, do another one of those puffy stitches, just like that, and then chain 1, skip a stitch, and then go on to the next one. So you're going to do that all the way around until you have 6 puffy V stitches. And so I'll leave you to that and then meet you back. So when you're done round 2, just remember to chain 1 again at the end and then slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. So once you slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, then you're going to slip stitch into that stitch again, if it will allow it, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So you'll end up into that V stitch, into the middle of that, and then you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to do another double crochet in there, and then chain 3, and then 2 more double crochets into that chain space. So it's still like a V stitch here. So you've got 2 double crochets on this side and 2 on this side, and this chain 3 counts as 1. Then you're going to chain 2 and then jump over to the next V stitch into the middle of that, and then you're going to do that again. So do 2 double crochets, a chain 3, and then 2 more double crochets into that space, and then chain 2, and then jump over to the next V space and do the same thing. So just continue that all the way around until you have 6 of those. So it's 2 double crochets, a chain 3, and 2 double crochets. Then you chain 2 and then jump over to the next space. So at the end, remember to do your chain 2 before you slip stitch into the top of your chain 3 that you started out with. So I'll leave you to that. Okay, so for round 4, we are going to slip stitch until we get into this chain 3 space. So just slip stitch like that, and then you're going to chain 3. And then we're going to do the puff stitches again, but we're going to do 2 of them at a time, I guess. So do yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all of those. And then do that again. So yarn over, yarn over. So you have 2 puff stitches here. Then you're going to chain 3. And then into that same space, you're going to do 2 more puff stitches. Just like that. And then you're going to chain 3 and jump over to the next V stitch and do that same puff stitch again. So it's 2 puff stitches, chain 3, 2 puff stitches. So I will leave you to that because that's pretty easy, and you'll make 6 puffy V stitches all the way around. And when you're done that round, I will meet you back. Okay, so round 4 is done. Was that round 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So make sure you do your chain 3 at the end before you slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And we are on to round 5. So you're going to just slip stitch across until you get into this chain space. So just slip stitch 1, it'll be either 2 or 3 stitches, whichever is looks the best. And then you are going to chain 3 again, and then into that space, or that chain space, you're going to do 2 more double crochets, chain 3, and then 3 double crochets. And then chain 2, and then jump over to the next V space here and do 3 double crochets, chain 3, and then 3 more double crochets. So the pattern for this round, this is round 5, is 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and then jump over to the next space. So you'll need 6 of those. I will leave you to it and then meet you back when you're done. Okay, so once you are done round 5, you will, don't forget to do your last chain 2 before you slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. And it might look like your snowflake is curling. Don't worry, it will flatten out. You can also block it if you're not making the hexagons, and that also works. But that is the end of that color. So you're going to switch colors. So you're going to just fasten it off. So you cut your yarn, you pull your yarn through just like that. And then grab your next color. Now, I will have a written pattern, and that will be on the website for you. You can download that for free, so just go there. If it's not there right now, it'll be there in a couple of days, but I'll link to it below as well, and you'll have that if that's easier. And then you can color coordinate your yarn if you're using the Advent packages that I sell, and if not, just use whatever colors you want. So just get a loop to start your next round, which is round 6, and then you're going to find one of the chain 3s from your V stitch. So one of the arrows or peaks from your snowflake, and just pull your yarn through your new color just like that and lock it into place. And I apologize for having like filthy hands and nails. I've been dyeing yarn, so I tried to scrub them as best as possible, but there's still some remnants of color. Okay, so for round 6, we're going to chain 3, and then into that same chain space, you're going to do a double crochet, and then chain 3 again, and into that same space, you're going to do 2 more double crochets. So that is a corner there. Now you're going to skip this first stitch here, go into the second one and do a double crochet, and then do a double crochet beside that, and then into this gap, the chain space, you do a double crochet, and then along these 3 here, you do a double crochet in each stitch. So in total, for each side, you will have 6 double crochets, and then you will reach a corner. So that is 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, and then remember to skip this one, go into the next one and do a double crochet, and then another double crochet beside it, then a double crochet into the chain space, and then 3 more double crochets, and then that will get you to the next corner. So I will leave you to do that, to do round 6, and you just follow that until you have 6 sides, and that is the end of round 6. So I will leave you to that. Okay, so if you've finished round 6, it will look a little bit bulky, but you can just, once you block it or flatten it out, you will have a hexagon. So you're just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that you started out with, and then you're going to chain 3 for round 7, and then into this next stitch here you're going to do a double crochet, and then that's going to bring you to the chain 3 space in the corner. So the corners are always the same, so you do a 2 double crochets, and then chain 3, 2 double crochets, and then you are going to just work your way across with double crochets. Now always remember to pull that stitch that might be hiding in the corner, so you have to get that one underneath, and you're going to work your way across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then that brings you to the next corner, which is 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets into that corner space, and then work your way across and do another 10 for the next side, and then you'll get to a corner, and so you just keep going until you have 6 of those. Now at the very last one you will do 8, because you've done 2 to start the round, so you'll only have on the final side 8 to do, and then that will be it, and you can slip stitch to finish that off. So I will leave you to that. Okay, so once you are done round 7, your project will look something like this. Just remember to fasten off, so you can slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that you started out with, and then just fasten this off, and and then you might have to just kind of stretch it out, but it will be fine once you put them all together. You can also block them so that they really are defined and you can see the actual snowflake pattern on that. So once you have 17 of those, then we're on to the next stage. If you don't have 17, you can either stop the video or pause it and come back, but we're just gonna power through this. I will show you how to line them up. So this is what it will look like when it's pretty much done, well, when you've pieced them all together. But what I want you to keep in mind, I'm just going to move the camera so that you can see this. carefully. So what I did was stitch them behind, and I will show you how to do that. And in each corner I just did 2 single crochets for each connection. So if there's 3 connecting here, then I did, see, these 2 connecting, and then these 2 connected, and then these 2 connected. So it looks it's a little bit like patchwork, but it looks really cute that way. So I'm just going to show you how to stitch these together. So what you'll do is you'll put, so if you'll have a front and a back to your hexagons. So put the 2 fronts together just like that. So just like that. So just kind of line them up. Hopefully you can see that. And you'll always start in the corners because that's easiest and you'll be able to count well that way. So take your 3rd yarn and just do a slip knot. Just like that. And then you're going to go into the corner here. Let me make that easier for you. So just go into both corners. Like I said, do 2 single crochets into that. So I sealed it into place and then I did a single crochet. So now you are going to just go, instead of, you can go into all 4 loops because you'll have see how you have 2 loops here on this hexagon and then 2 loops here. You can go into all 4, but what I usually do, so that I get kind of a different sort of look here, where the 2 borders are kind of connected and there's a kind of a layered look, and then underneath is where the stitch is. I go into the front loop of the first hexagon, so not into both of them, so just this front one, and then into the back of this second one. So I only have, instead of having 4 loops, I just have 2 plus the one that you started out with, and then I yarn over, and you can either slip stitch or I just do a single crochet, so it gives it kind of a raised look on the back, but you can do a slip stitch along the way. So again, you're just going into the front loop and the back loop, and you can count because each side has 10. Does it have 10? No, it doesn't have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. 14. Yeah, I was wrong with that. So each side will have 14, and so you just go across and link them like that. It's very easy. So you'll do that with all of them except, and so I'm going to put on the screen right now a picture of what the how to organize the hexagons. So if you just use that as a guide and model, and there is one side that you do not connect, and if you can see in the picture, there is some stitch markers there, and I have it circled as well, just so that you know not to do that side. and that is because you need that to be able to fold when you are done your connecting all of your pieces. So I'm just going to show you here how it looks. So there's 3 on the top, then 3, and then 3 again. But this is the area that you do not stitch. So don't connect those 2, just use a stitch marker for now. And then, so 3 here, then another 3, and then 2 at the bottom, and then another 2. So I will leave you to connect all of those lovely hexagons that you've made together, and then I will show you how to fold it. Okay, so once you are done, you've connected every one of these. The bad news is you are going to have a lot of yarn to weave in. I'm sorry. If you have another crocheter in the house or someone you would like to force to weave in your ends, then try and guilt them into doing that for you. But it shouldn't take long. It'll be soothing and it'll look nice when it's done. So now we are just going to start folding this in, and this is where this comes in, that you're gonna fold that, and so it kind of naturally will start folding or connecting in the back. But what you're gonna do, so it's just kind of like that, and you'll notice too that I only have 16 attached here because the last one will go on the end here. So this will be your 17th one. So just turn this over your stocking, and what you can do then is connect them. You can connect your lovely hexagons this way, and this is where your stitch markers are going to come in. So you're going to basically stitch or grab your stitch markers and just kind of pin it together so that you can stitch them together. And the way you can stitch them together once you've pinned these together is turn it inside out. Turn this stocking inside out and finish stitching it up. And so just connect it. I will show you in a picture how to stitch everything up and align it so that it's nice and neat, and so that you know what you're doing, and so that it's not wonky as well. So for now it will line up. You'll see, like, I know the pattern is a little bit bazardy crazy here, but it will all line up just like that. And so just put your stitch markers in here, and it's very much like a puzzle. And so when we get to the bottom of this, where the foot part is, I will help you with that. So let's all get on the same page and have everything stitched up nicely first. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here. This is what let me turn it this way so you can see it. That is what your project will look like. This is actually inside out. I have it inside out right now, and that's how I've been stitching the back side. And you will leave, you will have enough here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, a little hexagon here, and this is where your final one will go, and that will create the little closing end of your stocking. So you're almost there. I just wanted to show you this way to make it easier for you on the floor. So just keep going and just stitch in the final one. It will fit in perfectly, and then we are almost done. You can flip it inside out. Now if you are adding, before you stitch this, if you are adding some material like a fat square lining into it, make sure that you sort of stitch that in with your hands or with a machine before you stitch all this together. So just when it's a flat piece, that's when you stitch in your fat square or your lining, and then just kind of work your way around and stitch it all together. So I will meet you back when you're done stitching this final one. Make sure that you do it inside out, so you're putting the right side in. So make sure that you have that correct, and I will meet you when you're done that. Okay, so once you are done stitching everything together, this is what it looks like. You will, this is inside out still, so the fold in here in the front, you can keep that like that so that it will look more rounded when you turn it inside out. And once you do that, all there is really left is we're going to attach a color that you want for the top, and you're going to do, so you can attach it to any sort of connecting area, and you're just going to do single crochet, 4 rounds of single crochet around the top. So once you do that, I will meet you back when you're done. Okay, we are in the home stretch of this stocking project. So you'll see it has a nice little rounded look to it once you turn it the right side up, if it's inside out. So now you're just going to take a color that you want for the top, the open bit here, and just start in one of the corners. What you can do is take a corner and a corner from your from the top here, if that works, or just find a corner, whatever works for you. And you're just going to do a slip knot with your yarn of choice, whatever color you have chosen. I am going to be working with the red for now. And hopefully you'll be able to see that. So just do a slip knot and pull your yarn through, and pull that little knot through and lock it into place. And so into every one of these chain 3 spaces that you have, which is a corner or an edge, you are going to do 2 single crochets into that, and then just work your way all the way around the top part, just to give it some nice edging. And you're going to do, like I said, 4 rows of this. So once you get to the end of your once you get back around here, you can either just continue going until you have 4. So just use a stitch marker and go around 4 times, or you can slip stitch in to tighten it up a little bit and give it and then just chain up and why don't I just show you in case it doesn't make sense. So here I just finished 2 single crochets into this chain 3 here, or chain 2 I mean, and then I'm just going to continue along. So once I make it around 1 row, I will meet you back here just to show you 2 ways of continuing. Okay, so I have finished the first row of the top edging here, and so you can see that I've done 2 single crochets into the corner here, and then 2 into this one where we started. So you can either just keep going with another row just like that, and put a stitch marker in so that you know where to just keep going around 4 times, or if you want, you can slip stitch into this first stitch that you did, and then chain 1, and then, sorry, let me do that again so you can see, because I don't think that was even on camera. So that's your slip stitch, and then chain 1, and then into the next stitch. That's where you'll start round 2, and just go around with another round of single crochet. So once you have 4 rounds, I will meet you back when you're done. So we're almost done. Okay, so after you have 4 rows, you're just going to slip stitch into the final final stitch that you've done to finish that row off. And before you cut your yarn, if you've started in at an end where, like, one of the sides of the stocking, then just keep your yarn in there. If you've started in the middle, then you'll have to finish off, so cut your yarn and weave in the end. And you can either be done, that can actually be the end of your project, but I think it's nice to have a little handle, just so that if you want to hang this, then there's a little loop and whatever. So just find the sort of side here and put your yarn through. And what I do is I chain 35, between 35 and 40. You can do more or less depending on the size of the loop that you want, but I just do sort of an average here. And so you can, once you have your loop in, you just either slip stitch it into the same spot if you want it in a certain area, or slip stitch it on, like, from one side to the other. And I left a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. So that just kind of will seal the deal, just like that. And when you do that, you go back and forth now in the loop and do 3 rows just back and forth, just to make the loop a little bit thicker. So I will leave you to finish off that little loop that you've done, and then you can fasten off your yarn. And just a pro tip here, I just thought that I would give you a little pro tip. When you reach the end or side of each side of the loop, make sure you go back into main body of the stocking and do a single crochet there just where you started, just to keep it a little bit more firm so that it's not just hanging from one stitch. So you'll have you go back and forth 3 times, so you'll have 3 stitches in the front, the beginning and the end of your loop. I was going to say front and back, but no, beginning and end. So yes, that's just an extra little tidbit for you. Okay, so you should have your loop here. You'll have to weave in the end, of course. I know that's the bad news, but the good news is you're pretty much done, unless you want to do one extra little thing. But this is it's an actually very easy project. It just takes a little bit of time to get squares done, or the hexagons, but once you are on a roll, then it doesn't take that much time and you'll have these done in no time. If you want to make this larger and use these little fuzzy things just as a border to make it look a little bit more festive or whatever, you are free to do that, but I think it looks quite nice like this, so I'm going to leave this one. That is the project all done. Like I said, you can make these with the lining in them or on their own. You can make them without the little loop, or you can make them with. There's many different ways to make these. So I hope that was helpful. There will be a written version of this on my website that I will link to, and you can have that for free. Just download it, and yeah, so have fun with this, make beautiful things. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and the like also is useful. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.